My entitled nieces kept stealing my daughter's stuff, so I put a padlock on her room. They found the spare key and stole even more. My brother-in-law Dan and his 18-year-old twin daughters moved in with us after his messy divorce. He needed a place to stay while he got back on his feet, and my wife insisted we help out her brother. The first day they arrived, I came home from work to find the twins in my 16-year-old daughter Savannah's room, going through her closet. They had already taken 3 of her favorite sweaters and were trying on her shoes. Savannah stood in the doorway looking uncomfortable. When I asked what was going on, one of the twins casually said, "We thought we could borrow some clothes since we didn't pack much." I told them to put everything back and ask permission next time. They rolled their eyes but complied. When I brought this up to Dan later, he laughed it off. "Come on, teenage girls share clothes all the time. It's not a big deal." My wife agreed with him. "You're being too strict. This is just normal teenage girl behavior." But it didn't stop there. Over the next few weeks, Savannah kept coming to me saying things were missing. First her jewelry, a silver bracelet her grandmother gave her. Then her expensive skincare products that she'd saved up for. Then they used her laptop without asking and returned it with half the battery drained and food crumbs in the keyboard. Each time I confronted the twins, they had the same excuse. We were just borrowing it. Each time I told Dan, he dismissed it as no big deal. The breaking point came on a Tuesday afternoon. Savannah had been saving money from her part-time job at the library for 3 months to buy this makeup palette she wanted. It cost $75, and she was so proud when she finally bought it. 2 days later, she found it in the twins' bathroom. They'd used half of it, left it uncapped so everything dried out, and broken 2 of the eyeshadow pans. Savannah came to me in tears holding the ruined palette. That afternoon, I went to the hardware store and bought the biggest padlock I could find. I installed it on Savannah's door myself. She was the only one getting a key besides me keeping a spare. When Dan saw it that evening, he exploded. His face went red and he started yelling, "Are you seriously treating my daughters like thieves? What kind of message does this send? Your spoiled brat can just buy a $10 makeup kit from Walmart if she needs one so bad." I was about to lose it when my wife walked in and interrupted us. To my shock, she took his side. "This is really extreme," she said. "Teenage girls borrow each other's stuff all the time. You need to remove that lock." "Over my dead body," I said. The tension in the house was unbearable after that. But at least Savannah's stuff was safe, or so I thought. 2 weeks later, I came home early from work. Savannah's door was wide open and the twins were inside. I stood there stunned. "How did you get in here?" They looked at me like I was stupid. "We found the spare key," one of them said with a smirk. I told Savannah to hide a backup key in her room in case she lost hers. Somehow they'd found it. That evening, Savannah came home from her study group and went to her room. 5 minutes later, I heard her scream. I ran upstairs to find her sitting on the floor holding her laptop. The screen was completely shattered. The keyboard wasn't responding. It wouldn't even turn on. "What happened?" I asked, though I already knew. Through tears, she told me the twins had taken it while she was out. They returned it an hour ago and just left it on her bed without saying anything. That laptop had everything. 6 months of college application essays, research projects she'd spent entire nights working on, photos from her childhood that weren't backed up anywhere else. All of it potentially gone. She sat there crying, and I felt my heart break. This wasn't just borrowing. This was deliberate, careless, and cruel. I stormed downstairs where Dan was watching TV, completely oblivious. "Your daughter's destroyed Savannah's laptop," I said. He didn't even look up from the screen. "I'm sure it was an accident. That's why you're supposed to back everything up. Good lesson for her to learn." I saw red. A lesson? That laptop had months of her work on it. She saved up $800 to buy that herself. He finally looked at me. "Okay, fine. I'll talk to them, but I'm sure they didn't do it on purpose. They broke into her room with a padlock on it, Dan. How is that not on purpose?" After a long argument, he finally agreed to pay for half of a replacement. He acted like he was doing me some huge favor, but I was done. I told him they had 48 hours to pack their things and leave. "You're kicking us out over an accident," he said. "The only accident here," I replied, "was me letting you move in at all. You're out by Friday." My wife tried to convince me to reconsider, but when I showed her Savannah crying over her destroyed laptop, something changed in her face. She didn't fight me on it anymore. They were gone by Thursday.